Before the sun first warmed the earth, before the stars were scattered across the velvet dark, there was a choice. Not a choice between good and evil, for evil had not yet been imagined. It was a simpler choice, a purer one, to serve in harmony or to stand alone in brilliance. In the celestial expanse, where light was the very air they breathed, lived the morning star. He was not born of dust, but woven from the first dawn, a being of unimaginable beauty and wisdom. His light was second only to the great source, the silent heartbeat of all creation. He walked among gardens of starlight, his voice a melody that brought joy to all who heard it. He was loved, admired, a perfect reflection of the divine. But a seed, no larger than a mote of dust, found its way into his heart. It was the seed of self. He would look upon his own radiance, the way galaxies seemed to bow as he passed, the way lesser beings hushed in his presence. He began to mistake the reflected light for his own. The harmony of creation, once a symphony he led, started to feel like a cage. "Why," a whisper began in his mind, "must I be a mirror when I can be a sun?" This whisper was the birth of a new kind of freedom, not the freedom to love, to create, to serve in joy, which was the essence of heaven. This was the freedom to be separate, the freedom to define oneself not by connection, but by distinction. He started to believe that true power wasn't in unity, but in command. That love wasn't a gift to be shared, but a tribute to be earned. He gathered others to his side, those who also felt the stirrings of this new, intoxicating idea. He spoke to them not of rebellion, but of self-actualization. He painted a vision of an existence where every being was their own master, their own God, bound by no will but their own. His words were like honeyed poison, beautiful and deadly. He promised them thrones, not as servants of the light, but as rulers of their own domains. And so the first choice led to the first conflict. It was not a war of swords and fire as mortals would later imagine it. It was a war of wills, a clash of concepts. On one side stood harmony, unity, and selfless love. On the other, individualism, ambition, and a love of self that eclipsed all else. The heavens trembled, not from violence, but from sorrow. The great source watched as its most beautiful creation tried to sever the very cord of light that gave him life. In the end, the choice was made. The morning star in his magnificent pride chose to stand alone. But in choosing to be his own source of light, he found he could not generate it. He could only twist the light that was already given. His brilliance did not vanish, but it curdled. It became a cold fire, a light that did not warm, but burned. A light that did not illuminate, but cast long, deceiving shadows. He and his followers were not cast out by force. They fell. They fell by the weight of their own choice. In severing their connection to the source of all things, they drifted away from the heart of creation, spiraling down into a realm of their own making, an echo chamber of their own pride, a kingdom of shadows. The morning star became a king, just as he wished. But he was the king of an empty throne, ruling over reflections of his own loss. This ancient story is not just a tale of angels and light. It is etched into the very fabric of our own being. For in that great cosmic choice, humanity was given the same gift, the same burden, free will. Every day, in 1,000 small ways, we stand at the same crossroads as the morning star. Do we use our talents to lift others, to be a part of a greater harmony? Or do we use them to build walls, to elevate ourselves above our brothers and sisters? Do we seek connection, or do we seek control? Every act of kindness, of forgiveness, of selfless love is a choice to remain tethered to the light. Every act of pride, of envy, of putting our own ego before all else is a step into the shadow. We are all born with a divine spark, a fragment of that original, perfect light. But we are also born with the freedom to obscure it. We build our own chains, not of iron, but of our choices. The chain of resentment, the chain of ambition, the chain of believing we are separate, alone, and must fight for our place in the universe. We become kings and queens of small, lonely kingdoms of our own making. But the story does not end in the fall. The very existence of choice implies the possibility of a different choice. The path back to the light is never truly closed. It is a path of humility. It is the realization that our greatest strength is not in standing alone, but in our connection to each other and to the source of all love. It is the understanding that true freedom is not the absence of bonds, but the freedom to choose the right ones, the bonds of compassion, of empathy, of grace. Even the fallen can rise again. Even the most shadowed heart can find its way back to the dawn. For the light is never truly lost, it is only forgotten. And every moment is a new chance to remember. To choose not the solitary throne, but the shared garden. To be not a fleeting sun, but a faithful star in a grand, unending constellation. The choice, now and forever, is yours.